Look past the surface, past the superficial, past the promotion, first job, and diploma. Then focus, refocus, and realize that woven in the tapestry of all we're made of, there's something remarkable. And when those details that make you are discovered, you find what matters most. Whatever your journey to financial success looks like, Union Bank recognizes what makes you exceptional. Union Bank, your details matter.
Hey Mario, sorry to interrupt you. You have to turn on your microphone. Sorry about that. Hey everyone, it's Moises from the San Diego Latino Film Festival. Mario's just having some issues with his audio. We're gonna wait for him to reconnect for just a second, and we'll get started with our Q&A with the talent from Corazón de Mezquite, Ana Laura Calderón, and Ana Paula Pintado. So I'm gonna move myself to the backstage for a second, and then when Mario rejoins, we'll put him on screen and make sure that the audio is good to go. Thank you.
All right, Moises, can you confirm that we are on? Hello?
Yeah, let's do it. Yes.
All right, wonderful. Everybody, sorry for the false start. It's so great to be with everybody today. My name is Mario Lepe. I am a member of the MUFG Union Bank family. We are here sponsoring the Latino Film Festival film, Corazón de Mezquite, and it's so great to have you all join us today for a Q&A session with the film's director, Ana Laura Calderón, and the film screenwriter, Ana Paulina Pintado. Thank you so much for joining us, and looking forward to having them join us on screen really quickly so that we can go ahead and get started with the Q&A session that we prepared for you today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having us here. Thank you for watching the film. We are really excited, and well, this is awesome for us, really. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ana Laura. Hi, Ana Paula. Thank you so much for joining us today. And just, congratulations on such a beautiful film. I know that some folks are still watching it right now, streaming it right now at home. So they'll be joining in, giving us some questions about what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, and, more than anything, just really sharing some of this great experience of what you put in front for all of us to see. So, there's so many great themes that this film touches upon, and one of the biggest one is around traditions, and traditions from our ancestors, and how those traditions inform what we do today in modern life. I want to understand a little bit, how did you include traditions into informing the development of the narrative of the film, and how do you personally feel that these traditions apply to your day-to-day lives?
Okay, well, the thing is that traditions were in the film since the beginning, since the first idea. because that's how the idea came up. Ana Paula is an anthropologist, so I was working with her and her colleagues some years ago, and we were visiting some communities of northern Mexico. And then there was when I came up with the idea, because I was asking to this in Sonora, in south part of Sonora and in the north part of Sinaloa. There's this group, Mayos or Lloremes, the ones we are showing in the film, and they really care the traditions, but they are traditional musicians, and they do a lot of.
The tradition of the people.
And
That's
also, sorry, this is the first film that where the Lloremes or the Mayos appear in Mexico. There has not been another film of them, so this is like a historical document also.
wow. My family is from Sonora, Mexico, and I had never heard about the Yoreme before. And I mean, the actress, the young lady that plays Lucia, she is fantastic. I
Yeah,
Can you talk a little bit about the casting process for her? Like, how did you?
yeah.
You're in this story. You're in this place that's kind of like far removed from a lot of like modern life, and then you come across kind of like this amazing story that inspired you about a harpist, a female harpist in a traditionally male dominated environment from the revolution. How did you cast Sophia? What was the casting process for her like?
Well, we won a development fund some years ago also here in Mexico, and then we went to Sonora to shoot a trailer or a teaser, so that we had a previous Lucia then. But she grew up, and we couldn't use her when we funded the whole film. So we thought, as we were working with non-actors, the casting it was one of the most important parts. So Ana Paula's sister, Mariana Espintado, went before we went, and she looked for little girls from many towns, small towns, and well, she was recording them for us and sending and then making them some like camera tests in a way. So she like sent us, I don't know, like 10 options or something like that. And but she also she always made a recommendation. So since the beginning, I think she recommended Marim, and it was really strange because or curious, because Marin was the shyest one of the of all the girls she made the test to, and but she recommended her. So I thought at the beginning that maybe it was easier to work with other girls, but when I went there, something in my heart told me that she was the one, and it was really like a magical thing for us. And with the other character, well, and the thing is that Lucia's grandmother in the film is actually Marine's grandmother. So we work with a lot of families there, you know, just to, well, because they were interested in the film, and we thought they were going to do the part in a great way, right? So the casting was very interesting, and well, we also work with another colleague of Ana Paula, Pablo, and he also made the great recommendations of the musicians, because he has been studying that group for many years. So we have to be close to the musicians. We had to be close with the people who were like leaders in the community, also to ask them for permission. So that was very important, because we wanted to be very respectful with their traditions and with their day-to-day life. So we had to be very cautious with that, and then he was a huge help. Ana Paula, do you want to say something?
Well, yes, we were in love with Maria. She was amazing. She was like also very fast to understand everything. I mean, it was like incredible, because all the people there were not actors, no, they were natural actors, and Mayreen, it was her first experience, no, in life, and it's really amazing how she understood everything, even things that were more complex for her to understand about traditions and everything. She was really, I don't know, she very, very bright little girl.
And very passionate about it. I also want to say that we only had one actor, one professional actor in the film. That's Fidel, that's the father. And because we needed somebody inside, let's say, to help us with stuff, because sometimes dialogues were a little bit difficult for the elder people mainly, and he could help me from the inside. So that was the idea since the beginning. And yeah, and my team has a special gift for acting, really, and a special gift in life also, I think, because she also was since the beginning, she was sure she was going to get the part, and she did. So
That's incredibly sweet, and that's fantastic. I can't believe that the majority were non-professional actors. That it was just what an interesting casting process that you had to go through to show the Yoreme in kind of like a very authentic setting. What sort of research did you have to do to craft such an authentic portrayal of the Yoreme community?
well, I think that's yours, Ana Paula.
Well, as Ana Laura said, I am an anthropologist, and I've been working a lot with, not with the Yoreme, but with the Raramuri, the Tarahumaras from
Uh-huh.
Europa. Uh, so I lived there. I learned the language, and I think because of their being with them, I understood like many things. I learned a lot of how they see life, no? And also because in and my group of research in Mexico, we are all from the north. I mean, this is a group that we were at the Institute, the National Institute of Anthropology, and we were a group of research that it was conformed of different regions from the north, and one of the regions was Sonora. And my colleague Pablo Sanchez, well, we worked together for many years. So he listened to my things, and I listened to their things. So I learned a lot up with them, also with actually with Pablo and another colleague that was Hugo Lopez. Both of them have been working with the Yoreme, I don't know, like 15 years or something like that.
Wow.
And,
Well,
and
that
also, I want to add something, because we kept learning all the time. There were some things in the screenplay that we thought we knew what we were talking about, and until we were there and we were about to shoot, or we were going to shoot tomorrow or the day after, then being with them, because we were at their houses, you see, at their homes, and they become our friends and our family also. That's where we finally complete understood what we were doing. You see, so it's we never stop learning.
how long was the filming process that you were actually there on site?
Well, the thing is that usually, I don't know if you know, but usually when you have a 5-week production, then you have a 5-week pre-production. But the thing is, I was a mom in January, so my baby was 4 months when we went shooting there, so I couldn't do the 5-week pre-production with my baby there, because we were going to spend 10 weeks away from her father and family and everything. So part of the team went before us, and Ana Paula's sister, Marinés, with Osvaldo Villafañe also, and then they were preparing the actors. I went to choose them, but they were preparing them with workshops, with games, and they were rehearsing. And then we all went 2 weeks of pre-production. We only have the 2 weeks of pre-production there inside, and 5 weeks of production.
Wow, that was very accelerated. How great is it to have a supportive cast and a supportive team that can kind of like roll
Of
with
course.
the punches and accommodate everything? That's wonderful to see. I mean, there's some specific like specific messaging around gender roles within the film, and they dictate a lot of behavior within it. But it seems that Lucia's character, I'm sorry, is crafted as the antithesis for this notion. Um, are you filmmakers who seek to deconstruct those traditional norms and reinterpret them in a new way? And how do these gender norms, do you feel like, negatively affect society?
Well, I mean, times are changing. The world is changing towards female roles, and I think it's very important for us to portray this small community, this particular small community with a role thing, because when you get more particular in filmmaking, then it's more general. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, because it's worldwide then. When we are portraying a very specific place or a very specific situation, then it becomes a worldwide situation, and we are talking about the world, not just about this community. And we are talking about women role, female role, but we are talking about children also, because we want children to tell children that they can accomplish their dreams. It doesn't matter what it is, because, well, you see at the end, I'm not going to be a spoiler because you already watched the film, but she wants to become a doctor. Okay, so yeah, it is the female role is really important in this film, and in this community in particular, I think also things are changing. Maybe you can talk about this, Ana Paula.
Well, yes, it's also trying to show actually that the time changes. I mean, the life of the people changes, and also people change. So even if like traditionally the woman um, doesn't play the harp, um, because of the changes of the reality and everything. But now you can see some girls dancing, for example, dances that like Pascol, for example, this dance you saw in the movie. That before women did dance, no? But now they are dancing. So yeah, it's trying to show how tradition always changes, no? And actually, it's a very interesting thing to say, because if we always say that indigenous people have their traditions and they are like freeze on time, no?
Like set in stone.
Yeah, but if for them to survive, they had to they have to change. They had to transform to really be survivors. No, so this is also it also shows this. No, how tradition is still there. No, the most important things of tradition, which are playing the harp, for example, it's there, but the people change. No, so the essence of tradition is there. It's just that you have to transform, like everybody has to transform all the time. No?
At the beginning, we were scared because we were showing, or we're going to show, well, a breaking tradition film in a way. But when we sent them to their authorities, the screenplay, and they agreed to work with us because they like the film and they like the message of the film. So that was very important. And also, I think that these times are very important for us women, because this is the time that we have to change arts or filmmaking in this way, because there are a lot of female filmmakers now, and I think this is a time for us to show the female voice also and the female point of view, because we have been watching films with female leads for many years from male directors or producers or whatever. So this is the time for us to show another way of the real way of how we are. So I think it's very important that also.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's great to see that influence, and it's just so beautiful to see it in an avenue like you mentioned that, you know, you think about indigenous people, you think about traditions, and you think about them as stoic, as something that doesn't change. And seeing that adapting and in a very empowering way is just something that the film was able to capture. So we thank you for that. You mentioned something about the dancing, which reminded me a bit about the music. The music in the film is amazing. It's very heartfelt. And you mentioned that the Yoreme were the people that originally like create this type of music. Were all these traditional songs, or were they specific to the movie?
No, well, I mean, all the songs that are when they are dancing in their fiestas, they are traditional music. And Lucia, well, Mayreen, and had to learn to play the harp for the film, of course. And but when we faced post production, there was a huge challenge, because when we ended the editing, we were looking for a musician to make the score, right? So it was really difficult decision, because when you get to see this kind of films, you have traditional music from one side to the other, just from the beginning to the end. So I found this musician, Jason Carmer, that has said, "Hey, do you want to make this look like a documentary, or do you want to make this look like a film?" So I said, "Okay, this is a film." So he made this. Well, we had some references, but he made this proposal of the score, and I think it was marvelous. Really, I really love the music from the film, not just the traditional one, but the one we created for the film also.
I mean, the music meshed so well, like from one end to the other. That was such a feat, and it was a great. And you know, the film had a lot of memorable moments, right? Like there was a moment where, you know, she was playing around and talking to the grandma, and the grandma's like, "Oh no, somebody's going to take you away." I think it was like a scene she said something about a mountain spirit or somebody in the mountain that was going to take her away. Was this like a traditional story for the Yoreme of like, you know, like similar to El Cucuy or something like that, or where did that come from?
Bas.
Well, yes, it's a traditional. The Huyaina, it's like this mountain, and where is the place where the ancestors are, and also, well, the ancestors sometimes they get angry when you don't follow their rules. So that's why the grandmother said to her, "Well, if you don't behave, you are going you're going to be punished with the ancestors."
Wow. So is that that's great how you were able to kind of like portray that and kind of like that respect for the ancestors, right? That's always present in our indigenous communities. There's a lot of great scenes around there, but one of the most like startling ones I would think is when we see some men shouting racist and xenophobic words to Fidel. How does this scene speak about the indigenous communities and how they're treated in Mexico today, and how can we use this as a learning opportunity?
Well, I think it's a shame, but Mexico is a very racist country. Not We don't have so many color people as it, but we have darker skins and lighter skins, and usually in Mexico City, actually, they suffer a lot of racism. It depends on how do people talk to you. It depends on the color on of your skin, or how do you how you look like. And it's a classism also, of course, but it's also racism in those parts. It's very hard how they have to survive with all the racism, and the indigenous communities are really suffering racism from Mexicans from all the countries. So it's really, really, really sad, and we are the same, you see. But I don't know why other people can't see that. I don't know really. Ana Paula, you want to add something?
Yes, I want to say that particularly in this scene is really important um, to see that. Well, I remember, for example, what some indigenous people told me from other parts, from example, from the Tarahumara or from Oaxaca, that when they went out to the for the first time out of their communities to the mestizo areas, to the cities, they knew this world suddenly, Indio, you know. They didn't know they were indigenous. They didn't know they were indigenous people, no? That's a name that was like put in a very racist way, no? And so this is connected also with culture, but because in Mexico, well, many people are they have the normal and typical color of skin that is brown, no,
Mhm.
but not all of them are indigenous. And the thing is that when the culture is also a very important thing to be racist. I mean, there are stories, for example, the indigenous people that they are dressed like without their traditional uh, how do you say dresses, and they go, for example, to the shops, and they can go inside. But if they have the traditional dresses, they don't let them inside. I have friends, indigenous friends, that had that a terrifying experience. So we are racist in a physical way, but also we are racist in a cultural way. And so that's very important to see. In Mexico we have these things. For example, when because of modernity, the Tarahumaras started, for example, with they were drinking coffee, the coffee that they harvest, but then they changed it to coffee, instant coffee, because they thought it was better for them. It was like a psychology. It was like going to a process of progression of being better, because now they are drinking instant coffee, and all these ideas are because of modernity, because the general um, I don't know how to say, the common way of thinking, or the typical or the mestizo way of thinking, is not the traditional. So sometimes it's seen like no, it's not so good. No, it's better to drink instant coffee than the real the real deal, because instant coffee is modern. No,
And racism is one of the reasons also that why languages, traditional languages, are disappearing.
yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, and that is very
That's
important to say, because the Mayo, actually, the many Mayo don't speak the language, and this is because of the schools. No, when people in the 60s, 50s, 40s went to school, the teachers didn't let them to speak the language. No?
yeah, they were trying to indoctrinate everybody to kind of like the mestizo way, speak Spanish, embrace modernity, kind of like assimilate, which is something that I think happens across the world, right? Like in different countries where people that are native to that country, and there's another ruling class, or people that are coming into that country, there's such a push for assimilation, and that hurts or harms kind of like the way that we relate to each other. So I think that it was an important learning opportunity to include in the film. Let me put that over there. I think it was a good opportunity to include in the film for everybody to learn about. It this film. You said that it was going to be distributed in Mexico and abroad, or where is the film distribution going to be like?
Well, so far we premiered the film in Sao Paulo, La Mostra de Sao Paulo last year, and then we were in Cinequest, as I told you before, and we were going to screen it in Mexico in Guadalajara Film Festival, but the quarantine came and everything stopped. So now we are waiting for the premiere here in Mexico, and Guadalajara is going to take place at the end of November. So I hope we can do that in that time. And we have been in other online virtual festivals in Chile. We are going to be in Germany also, in Glasgow. So now we are doing the festival thing. And then we are applying to a fund, a distribution fund here in Mexico also, that we are going to have the results in November. And then if we get that, we can play it in big screens, in big theaters. So we are looking, and the most important thing for us is to take it to Sonora, for them, for the crew and cast, because they were the cast, but they were also the crew. They were helping us in the staff in the camera department. They were helping us in art, in production, in everything. So the community is involved in the whole. This is a film of the community, so we had to show it there. So it's a must. We have to do. So we are planning that, and we are talking with some U.S. Distributors now, but I cannot tell you anything more because we have not signed anything yet.
Well, coming from banking, I can definitely understand the need for discussion before the ink has finally dried.
Okay.
So are you currently working on any new films, or right now are you working on some other productions?
Yes, well, I'm working in two fields, because you also as a filmmaker you have to have, in Spanish you say you don't put all your eggs in the same basket. I don't know if it's the same saying it in English, but so I'm working in two films now. So I already finished the script from one, and I'm submitting it to international co-production funds, and we are on development funds also. And now I took advantage of being in quarantine, and I'm taking a screenwriting course by Zoom, and I'm writing a love story. Yeah.
That's right. So that's how the pandemic has affected your creativity right now? You're using it. How are you using this kind of like time to further your craft?
Well, the little time I have left, because I had 3 babies now, so the little time I have left, I am doing that. And sometimes it's night, but I have to do that.
Well, that's wonderful. How about you, Ana Paula? How's this pandemic affected your creativity at all?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to find how do you say, funding for a documentary about in the Tarahumara. So it's about the Mexican Revolution and the idea they have of the Mexican Revolution in Chihuahua. So we are looking for funding there, and I did a I did a short film for another director about the Tarahumara also, and now I'm writing another script that is more like how do you say? I don't know how to say it. It's about women and their relationship with life and men, things like that.
I think you said it perfectly well. That's pretty great. Well, I don't see any questions in the queue, but I wanna thank both of you for giving us some time today, giving us the opportunity to kind of like talk about the film, talk about your experiences, and really just showcase the Ureme community, some of the sensitivities that our indigenous people go through, and just sharing this wonderful film about tradition, and also about adapting traditions, and pushing empowerment, and flipping gender roles a little bit. I think it's great that you've been able to bring this to the table. From Union Bank, we're very happy to have you, and we just are very appreciative for the time. Is there any parting words that you like to give everybody that's listening to you today?
I can see a question here
Oh, I
from
see it now.
Marco.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are there any movements to create interest in this movie?
Well, I don't know if a movement like that. People from the community are really interested. I have the Facebook page of Corazón de Mezquite. So you can follow it, and there's a lot of Lloremes, Mayos connected to that, and they really want to know about the film. They want to watch themselves in the film, and where the plan is working with um, um, to groups that are aiming to promote children or girls' rights. We are working with Girls Up, and we are looking for other associations that can help us with this and can learn and can share with other girls just to let them keep dreaming and accomplishing their dreams also. So the plan is, is to get close to these kind of associations to help us and to help them also. So we are planning to team up with these kind of associations, and there are a lot of also women associations that have written to us that we want to be with them also, but there's not. We're waiting for the fund to come on November, just to keep on planning with the distribution of the film. Gracias, Marco.
There we go. Gracias, Marco. Well, Flori Sanchez wants to know, how did you form a team for the film?
Okay, well, let's see. For example, I'm director and also producing the film, but I have a production partner, Mirko Luis Coronel, and he, for example, suggested the DP of the film. That's Gerardo Barroso Alcalá. That's a very talented photographer, and we have been working now for years in this film. But then I had to shoot another film before this one, so he came with me. So this is our second film together, and that's the DP. And then it was difficult because when we started to make the team, there were a lot of productions in Mexico, and there were no ADs, for example, available. There were almost no art directors or anything. So we were very lucky to run upon Nuri Alamo, who's the one who made the art direction, the wardrobe, and the makeup artist. She did the three of them because it's a low budget film, so we didn't have a lot of money to pay many people, and we had to travel to Sonora, and we had to pay for hotels and everything there. So very few people traveled from Mexico City to there, and the other people were hired there. And as I told you, for example, the teacher that's in the film, that's Carmina, that's the mother of Camilo, of Pablo, the boy. And she was the head of the catering. We were having the meals at her place, for example. And her brothers were part of the staff and in the camera department. So we made this huge, well, it was not huge, it's small family. And that's how we all came together, and I think that's the way, because there was people who I have worked previously with, but most of them we didn't know them because we had to hire them there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. How that was a comment about how beautiful the film was, and a thank you to both of you.
Anna, thank you.
And it's all about Anna's today.
Yeah.
Anna's rule the world. So how many people in total were part of the production team?
I don't remember exactly now, but traveling from Mexico for the production, it was Ana Paula, Ana Karen, also Bravo, that were the AD, the DP. Gaffer, like the camera, the camera es encargado de cámara. I don't know how to call it in English, but well, some people from the camera, like let's say a driver. It was the second AD, was my sister Lorena Calderon. And my mom came with me because I had a baby, a 4-month-old baby. So we were like traveling like 15 people from Mexico City. And Ana Paula, you think it was like 15 people from?
Yes.
I think like 15 to 20 people from Mexico. The sound and data manager, yeah, like 20 people from Mexico City. And the other ones were people from the community that didn't know how to do anything of this, but they learned a lot and they did it in a marvelous way.
Well, it definitely shows. And again, like I can thank you enough for all of the great work that you did on the film and just joining us today for this conversation. Is there any other questions or any other comments out there before we close out our Q&A session? This is a great question from Marco B. What political challenges, if any, were you confronted with when making the film?
I think there was no political challenge. I don't think so. I mean, we were asking the Sonora government to help us to make this film, and we didn't get that great feedback. We had a little help from the Cinema Institute of Sonora, but the politicians didn't listen to us at all. But the political challenge, I think none, because it was like living inside a bubble in a way. This being in this community and being there was really magical, and it was like if nothing else mattered or happened outside. You see, we were there and we were just there. So I think nothing political came in our way. I don't know if I'm remembering wrong, Ana Paula. What do you think?
No, being there, it was no. I think. Well, we hope that this film could have some importance
Yeah, of course.
politicians, obviously, that they want to if they want to see the film and like sensibilize because this is the idea. No, the idea of this film is that people can see it and can know about this indigenous group and have empathy. Sometimes if you don't know people, you cannot have empathy. So if we have the chance, if we will love to that people could know the film, politicians and people who work in government and work in national projects, development projects for indigenous people. They can see it and they can have some empathy or a little bit more of knowledge about this group.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you shared the knowledge of the folks in the film. Gran película, muchísimas gracias, from Marco B.
Gracias, Marco.
Let's see. So is there anything else before we end the Q&A session? Is there anything else that you'd like to share about the film, that you'd like to tell people that might have not seen the film yet about it, that you want to invite them to join, or anything that's top of mind for you?
Yeah, what I think I'm going to say something. Yeah, this film is really important for me as a mom for many ways, because this is the kind of films I want my children to see when they grow up. So yeah, I think it's very important for women to watch it. I think it's very important for children to watch it. I think it's very important for indigenous people to watch it, because they are portrayed with dignity, and not as usually, at least in Mexican cinema, about indigenous people is always about violence, about rape, about bad stuff. And this is a nice, a beautiful indigenous film. So I think they must see it to see how they can be portrayed with dignity and with respect, because that's what we try to do. And also for elderly people, because they are usually not portrayed and also not included on anything we do daily. So I think this is very important, and it's in the film, and you can watch it in the film. So that's the message I would like to give with this film. Anyway.
Wonderful. How about you, Ana Paula? Any final words?
Hola, Gaby. Well, I think just as Ana Laura, I think this film is different in that sense. In many indigenous films, they show the indigenous like a very like sad, or they don't show like the happiness they have, or all the things that they can share to us, no? And also it's not documentary in a way that we try to talk about their feelings, and not only about their traditions without the feelings, we wanted to connect like traditions with feelings, with um, life, everyday life, you know, and how important is all these together, and how we wanted to show how indigenous people are like very special people. I don't know, but sometimes they tell me, "Oh, you are so romantic," why you say that? But I really believe indigenous people, they have something like another heart, like a bigger heart, and we also wanted to show this.
Well, it definitely came through on the film. What a wonderful experience, and thank you both so much for being with us today.
I just wanted to add something. Sorry. I am just very thankful with the Yureme community and all the people who helped us, because they opened their hearts and their houses to us, and this is dedicated and for them, and this is film is for them also. I wanted to thank the San Diego Latino Film Festival for giving us this opportunity. People in Sonora are complaining why this film is in San Diego and not in their communities yet, but I already explained them. So really, thank you very much, San Diego. Thank you very much, Moises. Thank you very much, Mario. It was great knowing you, and the work you are doing with the bank, supporting this kind of events is really important of us, and this is the way we can show our films in other places and in other countries. So this is very, very important. Please keep on doing this.
Absolutely, we will, and thank you so much for that. And hopefully, this film will make it to Sonora before we know it.
Yeah, we will do it. Really, we will do it.
That's the idea. All righty. Well, thank you, Ethan. It's a pleasure working with you, and thank you both so much. I know the film's still going. Some people started watching it a little while ago, so it's probably ending, and they're going to be watching this Q&A right afterwards. So I'm excited for them to see it. Excited for them to get to know you. And excited for them to get to know the Yoreme and all these beautiful stories that you were able to bring to us. San Diego Latino Film Festival, thank you so much for this opportunity and for us to all kind of like learn and engage with each other and learn a little bit more about our roots and our culture.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
That's
you.
okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Gusto.